Hi Anushuya, how are you?
Yeah, hi sir. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you. So can you tell me something about yourself?
Yes, sir. So as you thanks for giving my time to introduce myself. So myself Anisha Rajendran. So I'm from Tamil Nadu. So I have completed my BE in computer science engineering, in the stream of computer science and engineering. So I have around IT an IT experience of about 6 years, and into the testing I have around 2 years of experience, and mainly I have worked on the manual testing and some I didn't had a much chance to work on automation, but I have some knowledge on the automation part as well. And my roles and responsibilities are going through the requirements and analyzing the requirement and preparing a test case and doing an execution and raising a defect. And apart from that, I used to involve in the peer reviews of the test cases done by my colleagues. And I used to participate in all of the sprint ceremonies like the requirement gathering meeting, then grooming session, retro meetings, daily stand-up session, and the catch-up and the refinement session. I have used or involved in all the part of the things. And the thing and also we have used the I have some exposure to Jira as well as the Azure DevOps, where we used to maintain the test case repository, and we used to update the execution, and the defect management is being all carried out in the Azure DevOps as well as the Jira tool. And I have some knowledge on the Java, as well as I have knowledge on the SQL as well.
Mm.
Then yeah, I have, and also I have used IntelliJ IDE to execute our regression suits. And I have involved in updating our regression suits, like modifying some of the test cases in the regression suit as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, that's it pretty much about me.
Great, great, thank you.
As for
So,
the
yeah. So can you tell me something about the Java? How much knowledge you have Java? Let's say one being the lowest, and if you have to rate yourself from 1 to 10, so how much will you rate yourself in Java?
yeah, I would rate 5 to 6. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now let me share my screen. This is one of the Java program, right? And you need to tell the output of this Java program. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be getting the option as equal.
Equal. Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, the answer, the output of this program will be not equal. Okay. Because, let me scroll it up a bit. Okay. See, S1 and S2 here, which we have defined, right? These are two different objects, right? And their references are not the same, right?
Okay.
So hence it will print not equal. It will go to the else statement.
Okay, as the reference source.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now this is the second program, right? Now can you tell me the output of this program?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So first I will be printing like the first statement of try block,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be printing the number like 15.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes to the finally block system dot then the finally block will get printed.
So how many statements will get printed and what would be the sequence of those statements?
First, the statements under the try will get executed.
Okay.
If there is as there is no exception, it will ignore the catch block, and it comes to the finally block.
Okay. So you mean two statements will be getting printed.
It's yeah,
First one will
yeah.
be the number.
First, first one will be under the try block. There's the first statement of try block, and the
Mm-hmm.
number of the variable, the value of the variable will be get printed. Then
Mm-hmm.
it enters to the finally block, and after that, I guess the main method will get printed after the final. mm,
Mm-hmm. You can take your time to think. No hurry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Only the try and the finally block will get executed.
Okay. So only two statements will get executed.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Mm. I'm just not sure about the last statement of the main method alone.
Okay.
That was I'm doubtful whether it
Mm-hmm.
will be there or not. But try and finally, I guess for
They'll
sure
be
it will
there.
get printed.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at the output of this program.
Okay.
Okay. So the output of the program will be, let me move it a little bit up so you can see program and solution both. Okay. Now, so this is the first statement that we will get, system.out.println. Okay. 45 divided by 315 we will get, then we'll get finally block, then we will get main method. Why so? Because there is no exception. So catch block will not be called,
Yeah.
right? Finally block is always executed. So you are going pretty good in that direction, right? And your thought process
Yeah. Yeah.
was going good, right? So this is only the no catch here. Sorry, the catch here, it means the catch will not be executed. Rest all will be there. Catch block will not be called because exception itself is not coming. If here some other operator would have been there, right, which generates an exception or something, then you will have this catch block getting executed.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so this is about Java. Okay, what do you mean by a collection in Java? Can you explain with an example?
Collections of
Hmm. What are collections in Java?
it is similar to the like the variable, like we have an array that we store a number of data, and similar to that we have the collection, but we have some it is maintained in a tabular format, I guess. Some
Hmm.
value pass will be there, I guess. I'm not exactly sure about it.
Hmm. Okay. So what is the need for the collection framework?
I guess the similar grouping of data will be there so that when during the programming execution, when the data is executed based upon certain groups, we can extract it.
Hmm. Right, right. So, so collections in Java is nothing but it provides a framework, or you can say it's an architecture where you can store, you can play with group of objects, interfaces, as you were mentioning about groups, right? And classes, right? It's a framework. The Java collection is nothing but it's a framework, right? The framework has useful functions that features that a programmer can use, right? So again, you will have many interfaces such as queue, set, list, right? And you will also be having classes, priority queue, hash set, linked hash set, linked list, array list, right? So these are the collections in Java. Okay, now when someone is asking you what is the need for the collection framework, now let's say you have declared one variable to store the data and you are assigning, it's an integer variable and you are assigning 10 value to it, right? Now the programmer wants to store another data of the same data type, right? So what he will have to do, he will have to create another variable, assign a new value. So first he mentioned integer a equal to 10. Now he's mentioning integer b equal to 20. Now let's take a situation where we have to store 100 values. Then the disadvantages or the pain point for the programmer comes where you have to declare those 100 variables with a unique name. It is a very time consuming thing, right? Then in such case, you can use array concepts also, right? Wherein you can declare the array with specific size and specific elements. Okay. Okay, now what is list interface? Okay, so let's move with the next question. What is list interface?
List interface.
Hmm.
Mm, I'm not sure. So
That's totally fine. See, list interface is nothing but it's a child interface of collections in Java, right? The duplicate elements are allowed and insertion order will be preserved. They will be appearing in the same order in which we insert it. Okay. Now let's go to the next question. Okay, what is the difference between iterator and list iterator?
iterator is just like the increment operate works
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. List is like as the duplicate in the list as if the duplicates are allowed to insert it.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the duplicate value, like let's say I have duplicate records. Uh, let's say I have in the second position I have some two duplicate records. So
Mm-hmm.
second and third will be having the duplicates. So it will ignore the counting and will take it as three. I guess the index will be three.
Okay, okay. So there are multiple points which you can highlight as a difference between iterator and list iterator, right? So first of all, let's look from the operation point of view. So let's say if you want to add, if you want to perform add operation, or if you want to perform set operation, then list iterator will be used. But in case of iterator, it will not be possible, right? If you want to retrieve the index, then again list iterator will be used, but it's in case of iterator, it will not be possible. You can modify or replace elements using list iterator, right? But in case of iterator, you cannot modify or replace the elements, right? Then in the traversal direction, differential point is also there. So in the case of list iterator, you can move both forward and backward direction. But in case of iterator, you can move only forward direction, right? So this is the
Yeah,
difference between list iterator and iterator.
iterator.
Hmm. Okay, now, hmm, can you write a simple Java program explaining method overloading?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm giving you screen sharing rights. You can click on green button and then you would be able to share your screen. Yeah, I've given you rights. Yeah, can you please click on share screen button? Yeah. Now, yeah. You can use Notepad. No issues.
Yeah, so
Okay. So, can you explain this program?
yeah, so I have the a class called operation. So I'm giving the method as addition. So in the main class, I'm creating the object of for the operation class. So I'm calling the same method but with different parameters. Like I have one method with two parameters passed as an argument, and I have other method with three parameters passed as an argument, and also with the second method which I'm calling it, right, it has the parameter with three different arguments and two with as an int and float. So whenever the based upon the number of so first I'm calling the method addition add with the parameter with I'm passing the two integer parameters. So the first method will be called, and here in the third one I'm passing the same I'm calling the same method with by passing the three parameters as arguments. So in that case,
Mhm.
the second method will be called.
Great, great. Now, what if I have to get method overriding in this? This is method overloading, right? How, yeah,
Yeah,
can you change this program to method overriding?
yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so can you explain this program?
So I have two class on the operation as the parent class, and I have the
Mm,
addition as the subclass, the child class of the parent class. So
mm,
I have the same method in both the class. So here I'm creating the object for the subclass, and I'm calling the add method. So when I'm calling the method, even though as this add ad dot add, right, and I'm calling
mm.
this method, it will go to this class, and as it is extending this operation class, this method okay, this method will be called operation method.
Integer c equal to a plus b plus 10 and integer r equal to x plus y z. Where is z?
Sorry.
Yeah,
So
okay. So integer c equal to a plus b plus 10, integer r equal to x plus y. Okay. Okay, see, I'll show you one sample program for overriding. Overloading was good, right? So you wrote that program well. Now I'll share my screen.
yeah,
See, this is an example of overriding method, right? This is one class, integer get rate of interest is a method, right? And we are returning 0. we have one more class which is extending this parent, right? One more class which is extending again this. So three classes almost are extending this, right? And then you have one test class to create objects and call the methods, right? So this will be your test 2. In this, you have to create the objects of the above classes, and then this will be the SOP statements. Straightforward.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, okay. Now let's move to next question. So now you have to tell me negative test scenario. So this is a manual testing question. Okay. So you have to tell me negative test scenarios for this particular screen.
Okay. Yeah. So first I should give in the user ID field, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I give the invalid login ID, whether it is allowing me to log into the website or not, that is one of the case. And if I'm using the expired or block the login ID, in that case, it shouldn't allow us me to log in. And if I'm for the registered mobile number, if I'm giving the number which I haven't registered, it shouldn't allow me to log into the page. And if I'm giving if I'm giving any not a valid mobile number, if I'm giving some random number,
Mm-hmm.
it is not the mobile number that exists. It's if I'm giving some random mobile
Mm-hmm.
number, it shouldn't allow me to log in.
Mm-hmm.
And the same applicable for user ID as well. If I'm giving some any invalid random IDs, that is not you mean yeah, if random IDs, it shouldn't allow me to log in.
Mm-hmm.
And
What else?
so in case if I'm giving the mobile number in place of user ID and user ID in place of mobile number, like
Mm.
that, maybe we can check
Yeah.
those.
Okay. So you can check with
Yeah,
an invalid user ID. You can check with an expired user ID. You can check with an inactive user ID. You can check with a user ID which was deleted. You can check with a user ID, older user ID of the same user who's having a
yeah,
new
that
user
is
ID, right? In case of mobile number, you can check with a mobile number that is invalid. You can check with an international mobile number. You can check with the mobile number having proper improper codes, country codes, right? So
yeah,
yeah, so that's how you can check with a mobile number which is not registered,
yeah.
right? So that's how you can check. Okay, so let's say you have a junior person who has written some of the test cases, test scenarios. Now you are supposed to review their test cases, test scenarios. So what all things you will review as a part of, test case review?
So first I will have the user story in my hand and I will go through the acceptance criteria. And for each of the acceptance criteria, whether the respect we have the test cases written or not, and whether for the negative test scenarios for each of the acceptance criteria are not written or not, I will be checking that. Then in some case, if the acceptance the newly created feature on the user story in that PBA, right? If any of the feature has any impact to the existing modules or existing areas, whether that scenarios test cases have been written or not, I will be checking. And
Mhm. Then what
yeah,
else? So you will also verify whether the testing techniques have been incorporated. You will check the test data
yeah,
is
boundary
properly written.
when
Yeah. Then you can check,
tested as
right, test data.
the
Then
boundary value analysis and all I will be checking.
Yes, yes. What
state
else?
transition technique,
Yeah,
decision,
right.
state
So,
transition, the decision table,
mm-hmm, correct.
those
So
scenario techniques, whether it have been applied or not, I will just be checking.
you'll be checking. Then you will be verifying the test cases are written with a maximum coverage, 100% coverage. That is all the acceptance criteria, all the requirements points have been covered. You will check the test data is mentioned properly, right? You will check the expected results are written, right? You will also verify the backward compatibility test cases are written. For example, if the product was already live with some similar kind of a feature or with the same feature, so and if any existing data is there, then it those also should be tested, right? You will check the non-functional scenarios are incorporated in the test cases. You will check negative test scenarios are incorporated in the test cases, right?
Yeah.
So those all things you have to check. Okay. As a part of test case review, you will be checking. Okay. Now, what is sprint retrospective?
Sprint perspective is nothing but the feedback about the past sprints. What are the areas went well, and what are the areas we need to be more cautious about in the upcoming sprint items. So we any achievements we have done in that particular sprint. So those will be discussed in the sprint retro meetings, and many appreciations that we can give to this particular people who has done either in the testing time or the development time. Then
Mm,
we can uh, discuss those in the sprint retro sessions.
mm, mm. Okay. So retrospective is done. Okay. Now this is a scenario-based question. Okay. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Mm, mm. So if we have 5 days to test the entire application, what will be our test strategy, and do we have to deliver the project completely? So would we be able to deliver the project completely? What would be your test strategy?
So based upon the limited deadline, I will suppose if it is just a regression kind of thing, I need to go do. Then I what I will do is like I will have the cover the P1 scenarios, like the critical scenarios, and like we have go for the smoke testing as well as the SAFA testing. Whether the critical areas have been covered or not, I will be going to that, and also I will be testing those scenarios covering the smoke and the sanity cases, and then the areas where the repeated bugs or defects have been identified, and it went when the frequent changes have been made due to the defect and the bug fix. So those areas I will check thoroughly. I will validate the testing, do the testing thoroughly on those specified areas, and I will give test for the integration between two models, like those areas where the integrations between two models are happening. So those areas I will use to cover do the testing on the models where they are connecting, and all the sanity test cases will be covered, and the
Mm-hmm.
smoke will be covered. And I will, as I said, I will go with the critical scenario test cases as well as the high test case, high priority test cases. And so within this limited time, I'll first try to cover all these high level, the one which are having the critical priority as well as high priority one. I
Mm-hmm.
will try. And even after completing this, if I still find time, then I will go with the rest of the test cases, which has the medium priority as well as the low priority one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's it. Anusuya, I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, just if you have any feedback, you can give me so I went improving those areas.
Yeah. So from the feedback perspective, I think manual testing, agile related concepts are clear. You need to revisit few concepts of Java, maybe output of the program, what will be there. So those things you can see. Rest all looks good, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much and wish you all the best for your career.
yeah. Thanks for your time.